Welcome to the Den. My name is Eric, and it is Saturday here in the Den. And I had to tell you, I'm filming this video in the middle of the week. I film my stuff on Wednesdays, and I have had a very long day. So my eyes are a little kind of droopy. I'm a little kind of tired. But I'm here to tell you all a story. I'm here to tell you about my coming out story. Someone in the Den chat lines in our Facebook page asked us, is it better now, than coming out than when you were growing up? The answer is a resounding, oh my fucking god, yes. Okay? Yes, it is completely better now coming out than it was growing up, because growing up, I grew up in the 80s, and I went to high school in the early 90s, and I lived in the Midwest, and it was a very small, white, conservative Christian town. In my third grade, I was in the centerpiece of a controversy around a school play because the local Christian community was protesting our third grade play. This goes to tell you a little bit about the depths of conservatism in my hometown. They believed that my third grade play was so wicked that it was promoting homosexuality and magic and witchcraft and, all sorts of other things. And there was a whole picket line we had to cross for my little class to go to our third grade play in, what year was this? 1983. Yes, maybe it was 1984, but I mean, seriously, my third grade class had to cross a picket line to do a school play. Then they banned drama from my entire school until my class graduated high school in 1994. So that tells you, right there, that tells you everything you need to know about my hometown right there. Now, my family was very different. My family was very agnostic, very a-religious kind of household. My mom and dad, they did not go to church. They didn't give a shit about church. The extended family, a little bit more church-going. They were kind of Southern Baptist Pentecostal type people. And so when the topic of religion came up in my household, my parents were always of the opinion, it's not for us. If you want to explore it, go try it out. Maybe it's for you. It's not for us. So I didn't really have a whole lot of investment in Christianity or religion in general because of those values in my very immediate household. So when it came to things like morality, it was kind of a more open playing field for me, but I was influenced a lot by my surroundings. And my surroundings were, you are as we are. And we are a white Christian town, and we have very conservative moral values, and you will follow them. I didn't buy into a lot of that. I bought into some of it. I didn't buy into all of it. I was flirting around with the Church of Christ for a couple of years in my high school years, but I really also didn't have a lot of context for gay people. Gay people were not visible in my hometown. They didn't exist. Yes, they did. Yes, they were there. I didn't see them. I didn't know who they were, except for maybe a couple of kids at my school who were kind of effeminate, flamboyant. They got teased a lot and harassed a lot because they kind of came across as potentially gay in a very stereotyped, rote kind of way that I identified as what gay meant. That you looked like Jack from Will and Grace, because that was a context that I had, or Richard Simmons, which was this crazy, outrageous, flamboyantly gay person. That was what gay meant in my little brain. I had no idea about the other actual deeper meanings of this. I associated gay people with stereotypes. And so in my brain, when I started having feelings for other people, those people being younger men of my age or camp counselors or anything like that, I didn't really associate any of that with being gay. I associated those feelings with kind of just general bodily desires, So when I started developing feelings for, my friends or, people that I knew or things that I had watched on television, I still in my brain did not connect sexual desire and emotional attachment to the stereotype of the flaming gay queen, right? These things were very separate in my brain. Because the flaming gay queen is asexual in all of media, right? You don't see that person having feelings for anyone. You don't see that person having sexual relations with anyone. They don't really engage with people in any particular way other than being a crazy flaming bitchy queen. So when it came down to me really jiving with what it meant to be gay, internally, it didn't make any fucking sense to me. So, for me, my coming out story that I'm going to be telling you, now that I've given you all of this setup, is an internal one. Because really, this is the biggest problem in my coming out story. I did not come out to other people until I was in my late teens. I'm talking 19, early 20s. When I went to college was when I first started coming out to people. I admitted that I had feelings for people. I admitted I had feelings for men. Let me be clear here. To my high school best friend. He was one of those people that I was falling in love with. And he was very straight. He made that clear. That wasn't going to be happening, but he cared about me, and that was good. Great. That's great. Thank you. And then when I was in college, I started exploring my sexuality in very kind of furtive ways. The ways that you do when you can't admit to yourself that you are gay. And you don't go to places that are identified as gay. You go to places where you can find sex, not where you can find a relationship. So I learned bathroom code. I admit it. I completely did that when I was in college. I was one of those guys in the bathroom, in the college, tapping under the stalls. That worked. Still does, to some degree. So, not that I do that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. When I was in college, I felt like I had to do that because I still didn't really want to admit to myself or anyone else that I was gay. So I would not go to places that identified as gay. I went to places where I could get off. When I got to my senior year of college, I moved out of my family's house. I had been commuting back and forth to school for like 2 years. I got to my senior year, and I started going online. I was going on to IRC and going on to chat rooms and stuff, and talking to guys in the Gay Cincinnati channel on IRC. And I took a human sexuality class because I finally got to the point where I'm an intellectual person. I need to process things intellectually. I needed to take a fucking class to understand myself, right? So the first thing that they do in the human sex class is they give you the Scantron sheet. And they say, fill in the bubble and tell us about your sex life. I was like, okay, fine. So I'm looking at this sheet, and I'm sweating because the very first question is, how do you identify? Do you identify as heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual, asexual? There were probably a few other choices in there. But I was eyeballing the asexual bubble on the Scantron sheet really hard. I kept looking at that and telling myself, am I an asexual person? And then I started to really admit to myself when I was looking at that Scantron sheet. I was like, wait a minute. I have been lying to myself all this time. I could not accept the fact that I really was a person who had same-sex feelings for other people, and that meant that I was a homosexual person. So I agonized over these bubbles, and I finally said, you know what? I'm going to fill in this bubble that says homosexual. And then I answered all the rest of the questions really fast. But that one question took me so long, and it was such an agonizing choice. But once I did it, there was this weird, feeling of relief after I did it. And it's so strange because it was an impersonal, non-named Scantron sheet, right? That one act of admitting to myself that I was gay was the most liberating feeling in the world to me. I just completely opened up after that, and I admitted to my housemates. I started telling my friends. I started being more open about things. I actually went to bars and started to talk to guys face to face instead of just in the chat channels on IRC. I really came into myself, no pun intended, once I finally admitted that I was gay. So, to all you out there who are watching this video, if you are struggling with this choice, tell people, come out to people, come out to your fucking self, admit to yourself who you are, understand who you are, and from understanding who you are, come out to other people, because it's only when people truly know who you are that they get to know you. Otherwise, you're cutting them out. You're cutting them out of your life. You're cutting them out of who you are and what they mean to you. So, come out wherever you are. So, that's the end of my video. That's the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that this meant something to you. And I hope that if it did mean something to you, that you give me a thumbs up and like my video. Go down into the bottom of the YouTube channel and give me a like, because I like likes. And you can check us out every single day of the week right here at youtube.com/Men of the Den. You can join a chat over on Facebook at facebook.com/Men of the Den. And this week we launched a whole bunch of new social media bullshit. So we've got Twitter, we've got Tumblr, we're working on an Instagram, we're working on other things out there. We're gonna have a webpage soon, one of these days, once I get around to it. So come and find us all over social media, because we're everywhere you want to be. You come and you find us, you give us a little ping, you give us a star on Twitter, you give us a heart on Instagram. Do all of the fun things that people do on social media. And we will see you on the web. Ciao.